Hello, my friends. It's Cobb Tuesday, some parts of the world. I'm smoking a Blakemore Briars with some Billy Bud. I got some more Q&A questions that I want to get to. Each of them lends itself to a long video, so see if I can work through these, get back to you on them. This one is a very challenging question. It's from J.R. Lopez. And he asks, do you think some children are born to the wrong parents? It's kind of a catch-22 question for me, because if you say yes, and you believe the way I believe, Christian, then that answer lends itself to the supposition that God made a mistake. So I don't feel that's the case. If you answer no, the obvious follow-up question is, then how can you explain all the horrible abuse that some children have to deal with? Therein lies the challenge. Can you explain the horrible abuse that some people have to deal with? My short answer to that is yes, you can explain it. People are inherently sinners. People do bad things, every one of us. You, me, your parents, your neighbors, presidents, popes, kings. So if people do bad things, the question that often follows that up again is, well, how does God put a child into a situation like that? And that's a difficult question to answer. I think God gives us challenges and responsibilities, and we either answer to them correctly or we don't. That's not the fault of God. It's not the fault of our parents. It's not the fault of our children. It's us. So if you're a person that believes in what the Bible tells us, first of all, let me say this. If you're not a person that believes in what the Bible tells us, this may be a challenge for you to grasp where I'm coming from on this, or how I can believe it. That's fair. If you are a person that believes that, God created Adam into a perfect world, perfect situation, and gave him one thing to do, or not to do in this case. And he did it. He failed. Why couldn't God make a perfect person? Why couldn't God keep Satan from tempting that person? Why couldn't God fix it? Why couldn't God do this? Why couldn't God do that? Well, he could. But the plan he had did not include that. He could change his mind just like that. But in the process, he would break a bunch of promises, which he can't do, and he won't do, and he wouldn't do. So, people suffer. He also allows us a way out of that suffering, or a way to combat it, or a way to deal with it. I'm not going to keep preaching to you. Don't worry. So if you're not a person that believes any of that, the way I think about this is think about some of the celebrities or people you know even that have dealt with child abuse, severe child abuse. And how they turned out. You have people like Drew Barrymore is a good example. Lived a terrible life. Was clubbing at age 11. Was in rehab by age 14. She was put in a position that she had no responsibility for her actions. And she was in a situation where the choices she made were probably logical to her at the time. Probably logical for a bunch of people to go down that road, and a bunch of people have. Axl Rose, Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Monroe. A bunch of people struggle through that. And it was a real struggle. A bunch of people struggled through it and didn't make it out. Then there's people like Chevy Chase, Oprah Winfrey, Eleanor Roosevelt, Bill Clinton. His is an interesting case, isn't it? Overcame a lot, accomplished a lot, but maybe not in the best way possible. But some of those other names I mentioned went on to do some really wonderful things. We all went through something in our childhood, be it good, bad, indifferent. And what we went through from the time we're born until the time I push record on this video, and even now, shaped who we are. Outside influences have a say in who we are, but we have a bigger say in who we are. We're the ultimate judge of how we respond, how we live our lives, how we make the best of the situation, how we overcome, and how we move forward, how we treat others, how we treat our children. Are some children born to the wrong parents? Some people should not be parents. They should not be allowed that privilege. So it's kind of a difficult question to answer. Sorry, the squirrels are playing up in my tree. You could answer it either way and logically make your case. It's a very difficult question to ponder, I will give you that. And I would be willing to bet that most people at some point, especially up through their teenage years, at least once, if not many times, questioned whether they were born to the wrong parents or whether they were adopted or and the people that let questions like that get the best of them can have a harder time, no doubt. So what's the answer? Is there an answer? The answer is for people to be better. And the only way we're going to get to the point where people become better or quote unquote good enough to the point where we don't have to worry about stuff like that is reachable, but probably will never be reached. People are just flawed. Most people don't want to take the time to invest in themselves to become a better human being and treat people better. They're just interested in themselves. And what does life have to offer me? Ooh, there's something nice it has to offer me. Let me run over these 12 people. Not literally, but let me walk all over my family and my friends in order to achieve this thing, which will make me feel really good. But in the process, ruin relationships and possibly ruin other people's lives. And I think in asking the question, are children born to the wrong parents, you've asked a much deeper question about humanity in general. Interesting question, my friend. That's the best I've got for it, I think, at least so far. I would love to hear other people's opinion on this. A couple of people specifically, I would love to hear their opinions. I'll call you out. Mark, who's your piper? Pipe fool. Cobbett of the Shire. London Calling, Simon. And you, J.R. Lopez. I want to know your opinion as well. I assume you had a reason for asking the question. So, that's what I've got. And this could turn into an extended conversation if some of those people choose to respond, which I hope they do. So JR, thanks for the question, man. That was a good one to ponder. And I hope it makes some people think. I think that's all I'm going to do for this video. I used 16 and a half minutes on that one. If you're still with me and you have questions you'd like me to respond to, please ask them. I very much enjoy this format. Until the next one, which may be just right around the corner, you guys enjoy your pipe and ignore the hype. Be better.